Welcome back to the Daingeon, everybody. On today's episode, we're checking out a brand new projector from BenQ. This is the GP500 4K projector. Stick around.
Nice to be in orbit.
Thanks for joining me here on the Daingeon today, everybody. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe below. Like I mentioned before, we're checking out a brand new 4K projector from BenQ today. This is the GP500. It's a 4K projector. It has HDR. It has 360 degrees surround. And I'm going to show you all the cool features that this thing has to offer. So stay with me here and let's get going. Coming in at $1,699, this 4 LED projector with 1500 ANSI lumens of brightness and its 4K UHD image along with HDR enters BenQ's lineup in 2023. The projector comes in at about 11.9 pounds as its net weight, and it measures roughly 10 by 10 by 7.5. It also comes with your literature, your QS01 media stick, a nice remote, a power cable, and some batteries. Taking a look at the top of the projector, you'll notice there are 4 physical buttons. One for power, one for volume down, one for volume up, and a Bluetooth connection button. Next to that is also your zoom dial. The projector has a very unique shape. It's a cube format. It has your lens as well as your camera positioning sensor on the top half, and the bottom half is your 360 surround sound. Taking a look at the inputs on the back of the BenQ GP500, you have your audio out with a 3.5mm headphone jack style input. You have your SPDIF for your optical audio. You also have an HDMI 2, which has ARC. You have an HDMI 1 with 2.0B connection. You have a 2-amp USB-A, a 1-amp USB-A, and below that you have your 3-prong power connector. As I mentioned, next to the lens, you actually have a small camera unit that allows for the BenQ GP500 to use some features when setting up or installing this projector in your home. It has object avoidance, autofocus. You can pretty much set it in any corner of your room and expect to get a really good image on a huge screen just by using all of the built-in 2D keystoning, screen fit, and other features this BenQ offers. You can get a screen size of roughly 100 all the way up to 150 inches. And that made it easy for me to take it all around my house and actually test it on all the different projector screens that I have, including the UST screen I have upstairs where I have tons of natural light coming through those windows. You can see here that even with some light coming through the windows, the projector is nice and bright and it fits right on that screen just how you'd want it to. The fan noise is not too bad. I measured it on the right side, which seems to show what I can see in there as a cooling fan. It measured roughly 43 decibels on average, standing right next to it. The QS01 media device is like all of the other BenQ devices. You take off the top half of this projector, you install it into the third HDMI 2.0B port, and then connect to the power. Once it boots up, you're welcomed to a nice user interface, which is powered by Android. This user interface allows you to do all your different system updates, as well as all the different Android TV options. It does get constant updates, which is a nice feature from BenQ. But if you need to get into your projector menu as well and adjust things like your picture mode or your sound mode, there's also that availability through the same remote, which makes it real nice and clean when you only have to use one remote for the same projector. You'll see here that the BenQ has 6 different picture modes out of the box. I started with the bright mode, moved into living room mode. It also has one for game, which allows you to set the latency lower by selecting fast mode. It also has a sports selection for picture, cinema, and an user, so you can set it exactly how you want. I would definitely recommend setting up this projector with the user mode so you can adjust it to your light surroundings, but if you need something right out of the box, I found living room was the best. Taking a look at display mode, you can set your aspect ratio. It has 3D capability. You can set your HDMI format, your electronics control to turn it on and off with your devices. You can install it with the installation settings using the corner fit, the screen fit, all that stuff I went through earlier. It has your standard BenQ operations with color calibration out of the box when you receive it from them. It has light source information, how long you've been using it in different modes, the operation to turn it on and off, and your selection with information showing what display you're putting out as far as image quality. Like I usually do, I test the projectors out in full 100% lights on scenario. This is what the projector looks like with all the lights on a white screen. Very washed out, not too bright. Moving to the lights on at 50%, you get a much better image. It's actually very tolerable when it comes to having a few lights on and being able to kind of perform some other tasks in the background while you still have the projector playing. But when it comes to movie mode and you got all the lights off, that's where this thing really shines. The black levels are awesome. The HDR is awesome. That DCI P3 color really comes through, and it has a great contrast level. Each time I try a new BenQ projector, I'm blown away by how the display brightness is 1500 ANSI lumens or something minor, but the 4 LED light source still gives you that great image quality, and it keeps up with that Rec 709 coverage at like 97%. I mean, this thing is an affordable budget projector, but it has such great features that honestly, you have to at least consider it if you're looking to buy something to start your home theater. Okay guys, so another cool feature about the GP500 is the 360-degree surround sound. I know I mentioned it before in the intro, but honestly, it works really well. I have the projector set up in the corner over here, and I want to show you exactly what's going on with it. It's displaying on this 120-inch screen right here, and all of the sound comes from those little grates below the projector, and they're on all 4 sides. So not only do you have your front sound, your left and your right side, but you actually have the rear. So if anybody is sitting in any different seat, like I showed you, you get really good crystal clear surround sound out of the BenQ GP500. Just like I showed you with the picture mode, the BenQ has a cinema mode for sound, music, games, sports, and a user setup mode. You can also use that Trevolo sound system to go around and actually place it in the room where you need it and have the sound broadcast a little bit better depending on where you set the projector. Next up, let's take a look at how this GP500 games. I used my Xbox Series X to plug it into the HDMI ARC port on the back of the unit, and once the Xbox menu came up, I selected the appropriate picture mode and I adjusted it to fast. Now, what happened when I did that was that it actually deleted and removed all of the auto keystoning and all of the different projector changes I made for the installation of the display. So if you have it set in a corner and you can't necessarily move it from that location, I wouldn't recommend selecting fast mode when you're in the game mode selector. It will ruin all of your different corrections that you've made, and it's ideal for those that can set the projector front and center and they have no keystoning correction that needs to be made. All right, so one of the cool features once I did get that keystoning all corrected was that I booted up the Xbox Series X, like I mentioned before, and I set it to 1080p 120 Hz. That's right, with the HDMI 2.0B ports on the back of this projector, you can actually display an image of 1080p 120 Hz and HDR. So you'll notice here that I set the frame rate to 120 and I played some Halo Infinite. And man, was I impressed. Halo Infinite looked great. The HDR popped just fine. The performance and the low latency was definitely well enough in order to get some games under my belt, get some wins under my belt, and really enjoy my gameplay experience with that sound system going on in the background as well. I can highly recommend this projector for those that are looking for something that can game with some low latency as well. So next, I'll show you here that I actually compare it to the BenQ X3000. All right, everybody, this next portion of the video, I just wanted to go over the GP500 when it comes to gaming, and then I want to put it up against the X3000i. Really, this is a strictly gaming projector. Obviously, you can use it for other things like movies, TV, etc., but it is really meant for gaming. It has super low latency. It's a very, very bright projector. The GP500 isn't quite as bright, but I still think it does a great job of gaming. So if you are looking for that all-around projector that you want to take to different places, use in different areas of your room, and watch different types of content, such as movies or playing games, that's still a very good option, and the price point is a little bit less. So we'll compare what the X3000 looks like compared to the GP500 with some Xbox Series X stuff in this next portion. Okay, so first things first is the size comparison. You can notice here that the lens on the X3000 is a little bit bigger compared to the GP500, and the size comparison alone, the X3000 is about 2 inches taller, maybe 1.5 inches than the GP500. But the GP500 has the 4-speaker stereo system, whereas the X3000 only has 2 5-watt speakers. So that difference helps with that sound quality and placement. I used to just mount the X3000 above my head, but now I use it in miscellaneous areas around the room. So in this video, I'm actually shooting it compared to the GP500 by putting it on a table here and putting it on that 120-inch screen. Next, I booted up Halo Infinite, and I think right from the get-go you can see that the X3000 just has a little bit more detail, probably added due to that additional contrast and brightness. With the X3000 you get roughly 3,000 ANSI lumens, which is almost double what the GP500 puts out. But everything else is relatively the same. I mean, you get your same frame rate adjustments, 4K 60, you also get 1080p 120 hertz. And when you put them side by side, even though the X3000 pops a little bit more and has a bit more of a smooth gameplay experience, I'm not sure what that is, maybe just like a slower chip or something. Ultimately, side by side, they are very competitive, and you can see it here. The GP500 on the left has great color. It has excellent latency. The X3000 obviously is a bit better, and it's meant to be, but if you are looking for that middle ground, you can definitely get away with some great gaming, especially with like first-person shooters where it requires a low latency. So once again, the X3000 I think takes it in the gaming category. No questions asked, but for those looking for a GP500 where they can move it all around their house and they can game, they can watch movies, that's definitely well within reach with this projector. So in the end, my thoughts on the GP500 are relatively positive. I mean, this thing has outstanding color. You can pretty much put it anywhere you want and get a great, huge image. If you're just starting out and creating a home theater, this thing has all of those different smart installation features like autofocus, 2D keystoning, screen fit, object avoidance, and not to mention it has the latest technology with 4K UHD at 8.3 million pixels. It has HDR10, HLG, like I mentioned in the video, 90% DCI P3 color, and it's auto-calibrated out of the box. Not to mention, if you don't want to use it as a projector, it has that great sound system that you could connect your Bluetooth device to and stream some audio. I do give this projector a huge thumbs up. I think this is great for those who are just getting into home theater and want something that can display a huge image. It's more than capable when it comes to gaming. It's more than capable when it comes to movies, and it's friendly to use. I mean, it has that one remote, and I think anybody who purchases this projector, especially at the $1,699 price point, is in for a huge treat. All right, everyone. Thanks again for joining me here at the Daingeon. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe below. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments. I'll also leave links to all of the products we used in today's video in the description below. Thanks for joining me here on the Daingeon today, and I'll talk to you guys next time.